Cropping, resizing, and resampling images in Corel Photo Paint is a much needed skill for good quality photo engraving. I've already opened the 4 images that I wish to use. Now 3 of the images are identical in their height and their width, but this image right here is obviously wider and not as tall. I want to get all 4 of them to be equal in height and width so I can engrave them on a 4x12 alder wood sheet of wood. So the first thing I need to do is I need to select the image that I'll be working with. Next, I can go over to my cropping tool, and I'm given the properties for that tool. I'm going to change this from 180 dpi to 300 dpi. We need to have a minimum of 300 dpi to engrave images. And I'm going to crop it. I click and drag, and I've already measured out on my alderwood plaque. I'm going to have all my images be 3.5 inches tall, or height, and right around 2.7 in width. So I have my height and my width adjusted with the cropping tool. I just hit enter on the keyboard and it applies it. I now, with the image still selected, go to image and resample. This tells me that in fact my image did change to 300 dpi. I'm at 4 inches in height and width of 3.7. I have the check mark next to maintain aspect ratio, which will keep the proportions of my image. So changing the height to 3.5, it's now going to change the width at 3.2. This tells me my height is correct for what I need to for my engraving job, but I need to crop some more off the sides. So my cropping tool is still selected. I need to make sure I don't lose anything on the height, so I will adjust these to make sure they are where they need to be. And I'll bring in my sides a little bit, and I'll go back and check the image under image and resample. I'm now at 2.67, which is pretty darn close to 2.7, so I'm good with that particular image. Now I'll come over here, and straight away I'm just going to go to image, resample, change my DPI to 300, change the height to 3.5, and I notice that it's going to change the width to 2.62. That's a little too narrow. So I'll just hit cancel, get the cropping tool, and if I take some of my height out, it will still maintain some of my width. So I will take a little bit off the top, a little bit off the bottom, maintaining the width. Now when I go to image, resample, and change the height to 3.5, I'm now at 2.69, which is nearly perfect. I would go ahead and do that for the remaining 2 images until I have all 4 that are equal in their height and nearly their width. I would take these images then and import them into Corel Draw into my layout. And here's what it looks like when I engrave the images. Now if I were to use a program, Photograve, and apply that, I could get results like this. If I took that one step further and used the tone curve tool, which is right here inside this program, Corel Photo Paint, and used Photograve, I could get these results. If you're interested in improving your results, stay tuned for videos number 4 and 5 in this series, which will show you the tone curve and also Photograve software.